Hey everybody, thanks for jumping on here today with Tim Hollinden, 19 years in the business. He's got a great story. He's with Remax doing $1 million a year. There's all kinds of nuggets you're going to get out of this, some good training tips and where we're heading in the future. So hang tight. We'll be right back. Felt like dancing there, didn't you, Tim?
I did. That was an awesome intro video. I like that.
Yeah. No, thanks for jumping on here, man. I know you're super busy. How's life in Louisville?
Oh, I'm not in Louisville right now.
I was going to ask you if you're home because I know you're all over the place. You're in Caribbean and Mexico. And where are you right now?
I'm in Gulf Shores, Alabama.
Alabama. Okay. Yeah. Very cool.
And you're second home down here, selling a little real estate in this part of the country too.
I was going to say, because you're licensed Kentucky, Indiana, Alabama, those three?
Yep, those three. Yep.
Very cool. And been doing this for 19 years. So there's a lot that you can share with people. Tell how'd you get into real estate? Talk about that a little bit.
Wow. I told my wife when we got married that one day I wanted to sell real estate. And I went down a path of IT, information technology, for about 20 years. And that served me well, but ended up selling all of that and got into real estate after .com, .bomb, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it was a few rough years there, but I was a home builder while I was in the IT business, kind of a silent partner. Grew up around job sites because my dad was an architect. So I'm a very creative person. So I love to take that piece of dirt to a beautiful piece of real estate. And I saw that agents made more than the builders did most of the time, or a lot of the times. Yeah. And I was just always interested in it. Just in, being a creative person, I like the fact that no 2 days are alike, quite honestly. And that's very appealing. A little bit more freedom, as your tagline says there.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. What have been some of the high points? I mean, go back 19 years, you've had some good years, bad years, I'm sure. I mean, it's a roller coaster ride. It can be. Running your own business of any kind, there's highs and lows to it. What would be some of the highs for you?
Oh gosh. The highs, of course, would be the huge commission checks every once in a while. I think my largest deal was $2.25 million. I had both sides, and I won't get into all the numbers, but it was a very, very nice payday.
A nice payday, yeah.
Of course, the California people in the audience, they do that every week, right? It was good for me when back then my average sales price was probably $175. But so that's certainly a highlight. There's a lot of highlights in the last few years with my recent brokerage change. Just helping change lives now is really why I do what I do.
Sure.
I don't sell a lot of real estate anymore personally, and I'm blessed that I don't have to. But the highlights are just ever changing. No 2 days are alike. Big deals. I built a very successful real estate team in Louisville, and I'm proud that my average agent's been with me like 6 or 7 years. So
that's great.
A lot of teams have revolving doors. You train them up and they leave and they fly away and do their own thing. So I'm very proud of that. Love my team and love the business we're able to do together.
For sure. Talk about, because you were a broker owner, right? With Remax?
I was.
For how many years?
I think it was about 4. I spent 7 years at an ERA franchise, then I went to Remax, and then I left there and bought my own Remax franchise, brand new one, grew it up to 33 agents.
When was that? How long ago? What year was that?
I sold it 6.5 years ago. So roughly 10 years ago, I guess.
Bought the franchise. What made you want to become a broker owner? I mean, what was it that, was it kind of the next step for you, the next level?
Yeah. It's like a lot of things. It's the next rung on the ladder. You're an agent, and then you want to be a broker, and then you want to own a brokerage. And why? I don't know. I'll never do that again. A lot of risk, a lot of sleepless nights with your agents screwing up, and
Right.
Fortunately, I was never sued, but that's what happens with brokers when their agents do something dumb. It was a fun time. It's part of the life history. It's a chapter in the book.
The journey. Yeah, for
Yep.
sure. What, we talked about some of the highs. And I know you mentioned to me a little bit ago that, you had what, 3 years that you did over $1 million in commission? Is that right?
Yep.
3 years? That's
Three
awesome.
out of the last 5 years at Remax, I was a $1 million commission earner.
Wow. That's awesome. Congratulations. Did you ever have any good coaching along the way? Were you ever plugged in any coaching programs?
Yeah, I've coached with 3 different companies over my 19 years. So I had some great coaching. And
Sure.
in fact, that's probably a good answer to your previous question too. I mean, that's some of the highlights is when you're coachable and listen and implement what you're taught and willing to be held accountable. It can be life-changing or career-changing in this business, certainly.
For sure. Yeah, I go back. I mean, I think about how much, we all need it. I mean, you get around those good agents. I was 6 months in and I went to a Craig Proctor conference. That was June of 2002.
Okay.
And, I joined his coaching program, didn't tell my wife for 6 months. I mean, it was 14 grand on a credit card. She's going to kill me, and, but I want to be around these guys. I was 6 months in, I'd done like 5 or 6 deals, whatever, maybe. And, you go to this conference and here's these guys doing $1 million a year, 2 million a year, mega teams, mega agents. I'm like,
Yep.
I learned a long time ago, you become who you hang around. And so I've got to get around these guys. And so I took that shot, I did it, and it paid off. I mean, I ended up doing, I think, 32 deals my first year. About 26 of them came after that, the joining of that program. And that I was in that for 9 years. It was phenomenal, his program. And I think they all are really good if you just work them. Most people, they go to the seminar and they, buy the stuff online. They just never do it, or they never actually apply it. You get all rah at the conference, and you come home and it's back to business as usual. And
you got to implement.
Yeah, for sure. What would you say, again, long time being in this? I mean, we're coming towards the end of the year here. It's been a challenging few years in a lot of ways with real estate. It's been great for, whatever. And there's been a lot of people get in the business, but it's also, it's a different market. Every market has its own, highs and lows, whatever. But what would you say to, somebody who got their license, say this year, last year, we're getting ready for 2022. What would be some advice that you could give them in terms of getting ready for next year and to have a big year? What would be some things you could share to them?
Well, I'll just tell you what I've done, and it's worked. Because again, I've been blessed. I grew through the bad years. I didn't have a down year, because the answer to your question is you've got to double down. I just had a meeting with my team 2 weeks ago, and we talked about, you can do what most agents do this time of year. They start approaching Thanksgiving and Hanukkah and Christmas and New Year's, and they kind of take off, and because the market's slower. But what I did alternatively is I doubled down. When everybody else is taking off, that's your time to meet people, to do a lot of marketing, to touch your entire sphere. You got 2 good excuses, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, the 3rd, whatever.
Yeah. Thanksgiving, things you can do for that.
Yeah. I'm thankful that you've been a client of mine. Hope the family's well. You have a great excuse to just reach out to everybody. As an agent, you can offer CMAs to your past clients. You've got some downtime. You got time to do that. Update your website, review your business plan, create your marketing and business plan for the next year. I mean, that's huge. I'll talk more about that in a minute. Update your mailing list, host a holiday get together. I mean, there's so much you can do when everybody else just sits back and says, the market's so slow. Real estate sucks right now. And they check out until next March. And I've just never allowed myself to do that. Start farming a neighborhood is another great one. Call all your clients when you're on the phone. Hey, want to make sure I've got your most current email address. I'm never going to spam you, but I'd like to send you something that periodically that I think you may find interest in. I mean, there's a lot of things we should be doing this time of year because we have the time to do it.
Yeah,
we'll be so much better off. That the agents that choose to do that right now until about the 1st of February, they'll find themselves getting more business in the spring when everybody else is just getting started again in the upcoming year.
I know if I look back over my 19, 20 years now, I think several of my biggest months over the years were January and February.
Mm-hmm.
I always felt like, I'm going to have this, that week between Christmas and New Year's, kick back, relax. The phone starts ringing on the 26th. But a lot of it was because, and again, I learned it through Craig Proctor, like, almost like do the opposite of what everybody else does. Everybody else
Exactly.
pulls back. There's a
Yep.
great chance to get market share.
Yep.
Double down, like you said, spend a little more, do more stuff, get out there, and man,
Mm-hmm.
you can pick up some great stuff because they're still moving in January. And further, there
Yep.
might not be as many, but you can get a big chunk of that. And it's what you do right now. We'll set that up, I
Yep.
think.
Of
And
course, your clients are buying condos on a ski slope in January, right?
yeah, exactly. So anyway, but no, that's awesome. I think now is the time to get ready for next year. A lot of people, and I made that mistake before. It's like, January 15th. Wow, I need to start thinking about my goals here for the year and stuff. It's like, no. Now's the time to
Right.
do that. Get ready for that. So, what's over the years, what's been some of your biggest challenges along the way? What have been some of your we all have those pain points, I guess, or things that man, if I could go back and do it all over again, I would have done it differently. Anything you can think of there that maybe or just maybe a personal challenge that you just went through, that was kind of a turning point in your life or in your business. Anything you can think of?
Hmm. I can't think of anything major. Professionally speaking, I've been blessed. I've been able to grow through the bad markets. I've been an entrepreneur, so I'm always trying new things. I'm always spending money to make money, testing and see what works. Haven't had many challenges, honestly. I mean, it's just head down and grind it out. On a personal level, had a pretty major challenge in 2013. I had major heart surgery.
Oh, wow.
And that was I'm a Christian, and I thought my time was up. Very honestly, I was blessed. I had my team. I think I had 6 or 7 people on my team then, and my wife was running my Remax office then, and we did not skip a beat. So I watched part of your show earlier today with the other gentleman, and residual income was talked about. So my residual income at that point in life was team income. A lot of agents build teams. A lot of agents own rental properties, which I have no desire to do. I used to own some rental properties on the coast, but those were weekly rentals, and
Right.
property management companies handle the water heater when it starts leaking on Wednesday night at 11 p.m. I didn't have to deal with any of that, but that takes a lot of capital and a lot of debt. Unless you're rich with cash. But back to the heart surgery story, I just felt like that was a pivotal point in my life, and a few months after that, I felt like God spoke to me again and said, make some changes, Tim. The sermon series at church was called Simplify. And that ultimately led to us deciding to sell the brokerage, not because I found it stressful. I loved what I did, but just needed to change some things in life, just try to get things more simpler and try to eliminate some stress that I probably had that I didn't feel like I had. I never felt stressed, but we all manage and work to our own stress levels. But that was probably the hardest thing. Just, and that's more personal than professional, but
no, it's
that's
powerful to share.
probably why I ended up coming to EXP. A big part of the reason anyway is just how I felt then versus what I saw in the opportunity on yet another form of residual income.
Let's talk about that for a second. How long have you been with EXP?
3 years and 7 months, I believe. April 1st of 2018.
Okay. What do you see here? I mean, like, again, because here's one of the things, and I think, what you just said, the heart surgery, it's not like any of us plan on that, I didn't plan on getting prostate cancer 6 years ago,
Right.
I mean, but life happens. And I think it's what makes me passionate about sharing EXP with other agents, because, most of them have that one stream of income, maybe a couple rental properties on the side, whether it's, cash flowing a couple $100 a month or something, but,
right.
But that's about it for most people. And, and none of us plan on any of that stuff, and I don't, you don't wish that on anybody, but life happens. And most people aren't ready when life happens, and, And we've been there. I was there, and we had enough residual income, passive income coming in from, another business and rental property, different thing, where we didn't have to. My wife and I we weren't stressed financially. We're going to have to pull back a little bit, but it wasn't, the bills were going to get paid. I wasn't stressing over having to get out and show a house because, my God, we need a closing and I can't afford these medical bills and whatever. Like, we got through it,
Yeah.
and most people don't have that, Talk about that a little bit, like how EXP, like how can that, again, there's a big appeal there. When I saw it, I was like, I'm like, I get it, because I've been there, Most agents just have it. They don't understand. We got all the time in the world.
Right. Yeah. I always use the saying that, bad things can happen to good people. It could be financial ruin. It could be major surgery. It could be cancer. It could be a death of a loved one. I mean, you never know what life is going to throw at you.
Right.
So there's no way to prepare for all that, but you've got to prepare for, what if I'm unable to earn money? Maybe it's paralyzation or, bound to a wheelchair. I don't know. It could be anything, obviously.
Yeah.
And I've got so many real estate agent relationships all over the world now. And, it's, most agents are just planning to be on that hamster wheel of real estate sales the rest of their life. And what I mean by that is they find a buyer, they have a closing. They find a buyer, they have a closing. They find a seller, they have a closing. They find a buyer, oops, that deal didn't go through. They got to find another buyer, and you never get off of that as an agent.
Yeah.
And most agents, I've also found that they have enough hard time paying their quarterly estimate taxes, yet alone saving for retirement. So you got to be putting money aside for that day. And personally, I didn't want to be 80 years old and that agent that had to continue to unlock doors for buyers at the age of 80. And, I've had 3 friends, close friends, in the last 5 weeks die because of COVID. They are in the real estate business.
Really? Wow.
And, we're not talking about vaxxing or non-vaxxing or Republican or Democrat or all
Sure.
the crap that's going on in the world.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
you gotta plan for the worst. And, one of the best ways to do that is find some sort of residual income. It can be rental properties or, a side gig or whatever, but you can't get caught when a bad thing happens to a good person. And I don't wish any ill will on anybody as well, but
sure,
you just never know. I've been around long enough. I'm 57 years old. I've been around long enough to see the things happen. And, ironically, I've never been to a realtor's retirement party.
Yeah.
I've certainly been to funerals.
Yeah.
And that's sad.
I say that all the time. It is sad,
Yeah.
And that hamster wheel, you talk about that. I mean, I just, I remember, man, I remember just dreading January 1st and January 2nd. Because, we'd have this great year. And I think our biggest year is with our team when I had my traditional team, I don't know, 180, 190 homes.
Yeah.
We had a great year, made a lot of money. We all did well. It's, big Christmas party with the team. Let's celebrate, and New Year's. And it's like, oh my God, here we go again. It's like, I'm right back at zero. And having to do it all over again. And man, that was tough. I mean, I got, a lot of, I'm grateful for it, but man, there's some burnout there, for sure. And my kids paying the price, my wife paying the price, my health paying the price, just different things. And I just, that work-life balance thing, I think sometimes is like, good luck with that.
Right.
Be that way, How, so you've been with EXP 3 years, 7 months, talk about that for a second. I mean, how you've got a team that you've been building, a non-traditional team. People outside of EXP don't really understand that, I think. But talk about that for a second. You got a team now. How big is your team?
You talking about my sales team or my EXP organization?
Let's do both. Your sales team right now. What do you have?
Okay.
You still have your team right there in Louisville, right?
Yep. There's 11 of us on that team, primarily serving the greater Louisville area. Sure. Again, I'm licensed in Indiana, so we can cross the bridge across the Ohio River into southern Indiana, and I do a little bit in Alabama, not a whole lot, but I've got a lot of Kentucky friends that own real estate in the Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, Fort Morgan, Alabama area. So I've got that. And then the team I've built at EXP, or the organization I like to call it, just to not confuse the semantics with team, I've got agents in 3 countries and The bulk of them are in the United States. We've got agents in 19 states that are part of the organization I've built in 3.5 years, and that's been life changing. I mean, that's really cool, because I can remember, and back to the heart surgery story again, just briefly. I can remember laying there thinking I was going to die, and not feeling accomplished as a man, as a father, as a husband. Yeah, my family would have been fine. There's a big old fat life insurance policy, but it didn't feel like I was leaving any sort of legacy. And that's the biggest difference for me. Now I feel a moral obligation to share the EXP opportunity with agents, because I know what they don't have. I don't know what they have, but I know what they don't have. And that's, if they're with a traditional firm, they don't have at least 3 ways to make income instead of 1. And to contrast that to now, with now having a legacy, if something happens to me today, it's already willed to the next person in line, which at this point is Angie. Something happens to her, it's then willed to the kids, because TJ and Tara are both on my real estate team in Louisville. And now, contrasting to the heart surgery, if something happens to me today, now my great grandchildren will be blessed by what we've done in the last 3.5 years. So it's a totally different mindset. And I, back to your freedom thing again, I feel free. I mentioned I don't have to sell real estate. I still sell a little bit, but that's not what I do primarily anymore. My team is selling the real estate that I used to personally sell, and I'm focused on helping other agents grow and, better sales careers. Some of them are building organizations themselves. I'm loving to coach and counsel and teach and train and mentor all those folks. I mean, just honestly, real estate's fun again, because I was pretty burned out when I was leaving the prior firm, coming into EXP, and it's just been, I mean, people that know me will say, man, you've changed.
Yeah.
Because I'm not on that hamster wheel anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm not missing games and practices and, all the family things that, I've heard other people on your show talk about. It's now you're there. When you're there, you're really there, instead of just physically being there.
Yeah. Well, and we talk about all the time, like, work smarter, not harder. And you hear that all the time out there, but what does that really mean? I think that's the one plus here is, we can actually do that, And I say it all the time. I think within 3 to 5 years here, I think most agents, if you're producing at all, and you don't have to get in recruiting mode. And we don't want anybody to get in recruiting mode. It's not about that. Just do what you're doing already. Run your real estate business, but run it in this model. And what does that look like down the road? You look up and you've got some options. Wow, if I want to do 50 deals this year, or 100 deals, or build a traditional team, and I can do all that. If I want to pull back a little bit, or whatever, I got this thing going across the bottom here, replace your commission income with referral income. Well, that's impossible. Well, not here. It's not.
Yeah,
and we're doing it.
I've done that.
We're helping.
Otherwise, I'd still be selling.
Exactly. I've done it, and it's like, people don't understand how that can possibly be, true, and it's just like, it's a great thing to be here. So where do you see things going? Like, where do you want to, 5 years from now, what would it look like for Tim? In a perfect world, the way where do you see it going? I mean, the way this thing is going right now for you.
It's hard to imagine, honestly, because I'm so far beyond where I thought I would be 3 years ago when I thought about coming to EXP. I told Angie, if I can build a $50,000 a year residual income at EXP 5 years after I joined, I'm going to consider it a huge success. And, I did that in month 15, I think.
Right.
We enjoy life. I work wherever I am, to the extent that I am. We've got a lake house. We've got our primary house. We've got a place in Gulf Shores. But I'll be spending 6 months a year in the Caribbean somewhere at a house that I own on the beach. That's been a lifelong goal, and it's very real now.
Yeah.
And, I'll never fully retire, because I'm always going to be plugged into my organization, helping agents grow. And I love that. I guess there's a lot of teacher in me that comes out. That's one of the things I did in my prior life in my IT services company. It was teaching computer science related software applications and different things. But so I've always loved doing that. But that's a big part of it. There's, the biggest misnomer is I think agents don't realize they truly can do the same thing they're doing at their current brokerage and just make a whole lot more for it. When I owned a RE/MAX franchise, I sold, I recruited, I trained, I did all the same things and that I'm doing today. Nothing's really any different. It's just significantly more opportunity because we don't have that brick and mortar model that, as a RE/MAX franchise owner, I was forced to have an office and I was forced to have a minimum size square footage and forced to have a warm body at the front door. And I agreed to all those things when I signed my franchise agreement. I'm not saying that I was doing anything that I didn't want to do, but it's just a totally different model. I mean, technology is changing the real estate space, just like Netflix put Blockbuster out of business. Hell, Amazon has crippled thousands of retailers. Uber and Lyft put the yellow cab franchise in bankruptcy. I mean, there's so many parallels. It's just
for sure.
And being an old tech guy, I get it. It's becoming a technological world, like it or not.
Sometimes we complain about it, but it's just, I mean, again, we all do it. We all get on Amazon and order our stuff, and we all, we complain, but we contribute to it. We all watch, we all stream stuff now on Netflix and Hulu and Vudu and all these other things that we're doing, Prime, whatever. But I think in real estate, I think you either keep up or you get left behind. And I feel like we're way ahead. I mean, I feel like I see a lot of companies out there kind of all of a sudden they announce some big thing and in the news and, whatever, some big company that just came out with this. I'm like, well, okay, we've been doing that for 3 years. I mean, I feel like they're, I feel like we're ahead of the curve a little bit technology wise, which has been, and it's good. You got to keep up with it, whether you like it or not. I mean, you get left behind. So anyway, well, I appreciate your time, man, being on here. I mean, seriously, you have a great story and
the invitation.
Doing it. And
Thank you.
a lot you can share with people. Just I know you're doing really. I mean, you train our group. I mean, every Monday night you're on there with Eric and a couple of them doing some training, and I think we're all doing that. It's about giving back and how can we help build their business and take them to where they want to go. Everybody's gonna have different goals here, but I appreciate all you do for all of us. I mean, seriously, you just. I've learned a ton. I didn't get to see you in Vegas. There's all those people over there. What was about 6,000-7,000 people at the convention. I thought I got to run into him at some point, but
I know I saw you once from a distance, and I almost missed you because you're so thin now.
Yeah, I'm half the man I used to be. That's what
That's right. That's what Lane told me.
Yeah. I feel good. It feels good to be here.
Yeah, well, you look great, man. I consider you a brother. I appreciate you as well. I mean, you're pouring into agents as well, and it's just
trying to help.
We've made real estate fun again. That's a fact.
Yeah, for sure. First EXP conference I went to, I saw that on the wall. I'm like, okay, that sounded good to me. Just that right there, Yeah. So love the business, love the people in the business, love doing it. But man, oh man, it can get, that hamster wheel can get a little rough sometimes. So anyway, building that. Oh, and Lane and I will gladly come visit you in the Caribbean if we get that invitation.
Okay, absolutely. You've got an invite.
It would be fun. So, guys, thank you very much, Tim. Appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Thank you very much for jumping on. Feel free to reach out to Tim. Seriously, if you got questions, you can find him. You want to give? I don't know if you want to do that. You want to give him your phone number if you ask questions, even about EXP or about your business, whatever you want to share.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead.
Area code 502-387-2932.
There you go.
502-387-2932.
For sure. And reach out to Tim, guys. He can help you out if you have questions about EXP and you're good friends with Tim. And, I would tell you, just seriously, it's worth a coffee or a Zoom just to sit down and see what he's doing, see what we're doing. But, you got my website all over here. You can give me a call, 719-321-0335. So anyway, have a great rest of your day, Tim. Have a great week. And we'll see you guys soon. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yep.